Another lovely day, and now we're planting, filling those spaces that I showed you on my catch-up vlogs of plot 1, 2 and 3. So putting stuff into those spaces. I think we've skipped spring and we've gone into summer, and the sun's really hot, so some of the plants, coming from being quite cool, are being a bit scorched by the intense hot sun. But keep watering them to keep them cool, and they'll survive, and they will pick up if that's happening to you. But it's great to be getting stuff in the ground and catching up with things now. Plot 3, and here are some celery. These are self-blanching celery, so I've planted them in a small block. I've only got a few, as we're not overly keen on celery, but it's very useful for cooking, so we'll use it as a cut and come again plant. So we just, as the outside stalks get bigger, we'll just take those. So hopefully that should be enough for us. And then I've put in a second lot of dwarf beans here. Again, some green, yellow and purple, and by the time the courgettes, which I'm going to plant over here, there's a couple already in, I've got some more to bring down, as my courgette germination this year was terrible. So anyway, I've got a few more to pop in there, so I'll put a couple of more courgettes in there, and as they spread, these beans should be finished and they'll give them some room. Here's my tray of courgettes, and I'm going to plant them like this, at this size, into the ground down there. I did have some that were bigger that I planted in here, but I had a really bad crop failure this year, so it's nice and warm, and I'm just going to put them in at that size, and I think that they will be totally fine. So if yours are about this big, growing their first leaf, especially this one, they will be fine outside as long as you've hardened them off. So I'm planting the last of our tomatoes in this row, and these are beefsteak tomatoes. This is a Black Russian, and the tomatoes are a little bit sad because they have been held back an awful long time in May when we had all of that cold, wet weather. So they are protesting somewhat. Now, as a no-dig plot, I'm just seeing where the next tomato needs to go. We don't actually dig a hole, so we put the trowel in, and we move the compost forward. I mean, obviously you'll get some soil coming up, and then we pop the plants in, but I pop it in through one of these. If the tomatoes are small enough, you can put them on after these plastic collars, and I'll show you that actually. So these are bottomless 3-litre plastic pots that would normally be probably put into the recycle or thrown away or whatever, and I'll show you why we use them. So I'll just plant this tomato first. So we pop the soil parts back in, and then bring the compost around, and then pop this plant pot over the top like so. Now, any leaves that are touching the soil should come off. Now, what's the reason for putting this on? The reason I put this on is during the summer months when you're watering, if you water onto the ground, a lot of the water disperses everywhere. So when you water into the pot, it keeps all the water there for the tomato, as well as all the feed. So everything is used and you don't waste anything by runoff during the summer months. So we'll put in the last 2, and then I'll just stake them up. And I use these 7-foot canes to just stake them up. And then when they're all in, I put some cross braces in, and I'll show you that once I've got all of the tomatoes in. I probably won't do that today. I'll do that in another video. I'm just going to get the rest of these tomatoes in for now. Make sure that's nice and secure. Then I'll give the last 3 tomato plants a drink, although the soil is very wet after yesterday's very, very heavy rain. So that's good, that'll help them settle in. So this is a Black Russian. I've got 2 Coeur de Boeuf, which are the big heart-shaped French tomatoes, and then that will finish our row of beefsteak tomatoes for plot 1. So this is the first batch of sweet corn that we grow 2 sisters, and in a previous video I said that we don't do 3 sisters, which is the traditional way of growing. I've got my pumpkins in, just there, here, and then 3 more here, Crown Prince. And what I thought I would do is actually, why not put some climbing beans along the front ones? Because the problem's always been, how do you get into the crop to pick the beans? Which is why I've never done 3 sisters, I've only ever done 2. So this year I'm going to experiment on putting a climbing bean up each of the outside corn and seeing how that goes. And I've chosen a variety called Cobra, which is a really nice, reliable climbing French bean. So it's an experiment. Let's see how it goes, and I shall show you in another video. So I've got some Cobra, some climbing French beans, and I'm just going to pop one at the side of these sweet corn. Well, I've got nothing to lose, so I'm going to go all the way around and just do the outside sweet corn and use it as a test to see if I can do 3 sisters. Why don't you give it a try and see how it goes? Maybe you could try a different bean or a different way of doing it. It should be fun. I'm sat under the gazebo. I was theoretically sheltering from the sun, but it's actually been raining, just a small amount, but it's still really, really hot. And these little lettuces have been under the shade these last few days because it has been so sunny and hot. So this will be my last pricking out of salads for a little while. I've got some others that have been hardening off just here. I've got 2 trays of those ready to go out. There's some pak choy to go into some shady area down the end of the garden, as neither of the lettuces nor the pak choy like really hot sun. So I've got my seed trays, the ones from Container Wise, which are fantastic, and I've put links on here before, but I'll put another link again. And they're lovely, great trays. You can use them time and time again. And the leopard pattern on our outdoor furniture isn't because we like leopard patterns, it's because we have the infamous and famous Winky cat, who's not our cat, but she loves to sleep on this bent on here. So during the day we put these out, and during the night we put them out, because she sneaks up under the cover and sleeps in this little corner. And it doesn't matter what we do, she'll get under there, so we're just protecting it from the cat. Things you have to do, honestly. But anyway, back to the lettuces. So I've got 5 varieties of lettuce here, and there's 3 varieties in the trays I showed you before, different varieties, so it gives us a nice mix of salads. This is a perfect size for potting up lettuces, because the leaves aren't very tangled. Hang on a second. They're not too root bound. You can release them quite easily and just pot them up. Oops, it's hard to film and pot up at the same time. Pop them up quite easily. So you can do it when they're slightly bigger. Some people say wait for the true leaves, but then the roots get really entangled and you're really yanking them apart. So hopefully this will give them less transfer shock when you're replanting them. Thank you for joining me on my planting trip on the allotment. I hope that you'll join me again on my next vlog for round 2 of planting in June, and I look forward to seeing you. Thank you for watching this video. Take care now. Bye bye.